Okay, just got back from Social Network. Now, of course, this might seem kind of bizarre, but my videos are actually sent through a primary site that go to all my secondary sites like YouTube and all that. One of those, of course, is Facebook, so please, Mark, don't kick me off of Facebook. That being said, I don't know that much about the overall factual nature about the actual creation of Facebook itself. I'm pretty sure during this movie some liberties were taken. Maybe names have been changed to protect the innocent. I don't know if that's actually how Mark Zuckerberg is, because he's a undeniably private sort of individual. So, I'll be honest, this was a really interesting movie. This is a super, super talky movie. Like, the opening sequence has probably as much dialogue as most action movies do the whole time through, and that's like your opening scene. It almost seems like he kind of made Facebook because he was kind of angry at a girl who spited him. He ironically did talk a lot like most computer programmers I know. He was super logical, super factual, and had absolutely zero people skills. So you need to find people who are good at the people portion of it to help yourself, develop actually very successful business. Now, I did find he went to Harvard, and essentially one night after he was essentially dumped, he got upset and essentially kind of hacked every house's Facebook system. Took all the pictures and did a face smash, kind of like a hot or not, but use different algorithms in a way, so that way, as opposed to doing like hotornot.com, where you had like a sliding scale and you had kind of random photos. Depending on who you chose, they picked people who were fairly close to that to make your next decision a little bit more entertaining for you. People from a much more elite group, ironically, two of them were rowers who were twins. In this movie, they actually had digitally enhanced one of the two people to make them look identical. Had an idea for what they called the Harvard connection. It was going to be very exclusive, so people from Harvard could get to use it. Whether that was the actual genesis of the idea of the Facebook or not, it's kind of someone tells you an idea, and then you kind of go, that kind of works. And then sit back later and go, that's okay. If I tweak it, that can make it a lot better. Now, depending on what you know about IP, taking an original idea and essentially enhancing it, depending on what it is you're taking from the original idea, could sometimes be counted as a new invention. However, if there being no intellectual properties actually discussed, or in the way there actually aren't any legal written documents, it was an oral contract. I can see how they have some legal grounds, but then again, when you have higher powered attorneys and people at your disposal that can make said things that can become multi-million-dollar corporations into legal matters, it makes sense. Yes, if you don't like to see dissertations and legal matters, it's not your movie. This is, however, beautifully acted. Justin Timberlake did a very good job. Found it kind of ironic that they had him playing the founder of Napster, knowing how NSYNC did have issues with Napster. So the overcharacterization of Zuckerberg is someone who's a highly motivated computer guy, who wasn't really a prick, but really didn't know how to communicate with people. That's what you really get with computers. Justin Timberlake playing the Napster guy, he was very good with computers, and he had a lot of bravado, but he was actually kind of a coward. Which is what makes the movie kind of weird, because you have, the person who's playing Zuckerberg essentially is just super unempathetic. And a lot of times he comes off like he's just bored. That's really the way Mark is. Wow, I appreciate anybody who can put up with him. But this is about Facebook. And kind of about how a guy, in a way, made a social networking site so he could get together with all of his friends while he really never had any real friends. Which is quite endemic of what Facebook actually is. You know, you see a picture of somebody, you click add as friend, you don't need to know anything about that person. You never met that person. You just saw a photo and went, oh, it's neat. I want you to become my friend. You don't actually talk, you never hang out, but you have amassed a large army of friends. And in a way, it's weird that's worth, according to that movie, a $25 billion company. It had, other legal issues that aren't described in this movie. This essentially is about the overall founding of it and the two initial lawsuits. Not ones dealing with privacy issues that have happened later and more recently. So it was a very interesting movie. There really isn't a lot that actually happens, because a lot of it is, cuts from deposition tapings to the events as they happened, to all the people who were at those events. But if it actually was created because one night he kind of got upset at the girl who dumped him, but it was really showing, another house is having this huge lavish party with like women taking their clothes off and girls kissing girls and everyone's, drinking. And he and his buddies are sitting in a room typing on their computers. And all of a sudden he's the one who's got the $25 billion industry. Not the guys who are partying and watching girl-on-girl stuff. I spent lots of time in college typing on a computer. Playing, MMORPGs, and I guess I was doing the wrong stuff because, I never went to those crazy parties with the girl-on-girl stuff, so it's kind of bizarre that someone who was really socially inept created a giant social network.